Okay, next up on the main stage is Arizona State with head coach Bobby Hurley and student athletes Remy Martin and Rob Edwards. Round of applause. Coach, go ahead with your opening remarks, and then we'll toss it to Q&A.
Thanks for having us here. We're very excited to be here in San Francisco with everyone and having a great day. Just sharing our program with everyone. It's been a fun and busy day, and happy that Remy Martin and Rob Edwards could join me. So I'll open it up to any questions you might have.
Michelle and others, feel free. Yeah. Don't be shy. We'll open up the questions to the student athletes in the back and Coach Hurley up front.
At risk of asking you all the stuff we've already asked you.
Yeah.
What about the identity of this year's team? What do you expect it to be?
What is the identity of this year's team? We're still, I think, in the process of determining that each day in practice. We do have a strong core of returning players that have now been to consecutive NCAA tournaments, so there's a good expectation of winning a lot of basketball games, so that's a good feeling for a coach to bring back players like Rob Edwards, Remy Martin, Kamani Lawrence, Romello White, who looks fantastic, and Tayshaun Cherry, and then we've added some solid guys as well. So I think we'll resemble more of what my team was like 2 years ago than last year's team. I think we had a little more physical, dominant way about how we could rebound and defend, and losing Zylan Cheatham and Lou Dort. We've added some different guys that I think will make us a little bit more guard-oriented, a more dangerous team in terms of being able to score the ball in a variety of ways, and just have some positional versatility with our roster, and some big wings also to go along with the smaller guards. And again, Romello White has had a great offseason. I expect him to have a big year.
Rob Edwards missing a lot of games with a back injury. How much are you looking forward to having him full strength the whole year, having that three-point shooting that adds to your team?
Yeah, he was phenomenal. Again, 2 years ago when he was sitting out, I was just like chomping at the bit to want to get him in. And then just all last year, to his credit, he didn't talk about it, but he pushed through some back pain and stiffness and wasn't himself, and just didn't have the time to make it right. And but he's had we addressed it in the off season. There's no one that works harder on their game, is more disciplined in taking care of their body, and it's just great to see him happy and out on the floor, moving freely. And he had a play in our layup line where he threw it off the backboard and was way over the rim dunking it, and just I don't remember seeing that too often last year. So I'm excited for Rob and the season he could have.
Is this Remy's team?
I don't get into like whose team it is. I'm not like that type of coach where I declare like someone is in charge of the team, and it's more a group effort, collaborative effort. I think the best teams I've had have been dangerous at multiple positions. I think Remy certainly has earned the right to have a strong voice in the locker room because of what he's accomplished on our team, and being a guy that's projected to be an all-league player coming in, and he's set a good tone in our off-season training program for how hard he's worked, and set a good example for the players coming into the program about how we operate.
Romello always talks this time of year about extending his range. Where is he at in that process? Is he still kind of in that 15, 16-foot area?
With Romello, I haven't told him like he can't shoot a jump shot yet, so that's where we're at with that. I think he's added more of a comfortability with facing up in the mid post and not strictly being a back to the basket guy, and so he's going to get a lot of touches in that way. And if teams back off, I have confidence in him shooting it. He's worked very hard on it in the off season, and I would expect that would translate into increased free throw percentage for him as well, because I think he's going to get to the free throw line.
What are your thoughts on starting the season in China, and how does that kind of change maybe your preseason routine, seeing as you're going to have to go to China, like a lot more travel early on?
Yeah, there's a little more urgency in our practices, just trying to get our system in place more and throwing more at our players to really hopefully they retain what we need to get done. It's kind of like losing a week almost in terms of practice time with all the travel. So that's an issue. We've been able to get off to a very fast start in the non-conference the last 2 years, and we're hoping to continue that trend. And so we just, we can't afford to lose days. We just got to make sure we're productive every day.
Who are a couple guys that aren't named Edwards or Martin that you need to step up?
Yeah, I just think, I think we're going to be very balanced on offense, and I could see a scenario where there's 6 guys in double figures. I think we're going to score a lot of points. I think we could score enough points that's a realistic possibility. Players that have come in, new guys, Lonzo Verge is making a strong impression on everybody in our workouts. And there were days in our gym where it might have been the best guard that I've had since I've been in ASU, just watching how much he got done in a session, just for how talented he was, and a variety of ways that he could create and make shots and make plays for his teammates. So I just have high hopes for Lonzo Verge. And then, Jalen House is another guy that's got a ton of energy, and who's got a great pedigree. His dad was a hell of a player for ASU, and he's just always played against really good teams and good competition in high school. So he's ready for the college level. I think he'll have a chance to make an impact with our guard core.
Does the change in the three-point line affect you offensively at all?
I think it's a positive for us. I mean, I think it's going to depend team to team based on how well they could shoot it. I think we'll be vastly improved shooting from a distance from last year's team. I'm hopeful Tayshaun Cherry continues to look as good as he looks in workouts, and he's got the ability at the 4 to really stretch the defense, as well as Kamani Lawrence. And then, there's not a guard that I'm going to put in the game that can't shoot from the added distance of the new college three-point line. So hopefully it opens the floor, and my guards could get in the paint more effectively.
Coach, no Kansas on the schedule this year, unfortunately. So no automatic chance at a big win unless you get the opportunity at Virginia. How do you feel overall about the way you scheduled? And obviously, playing in Dayton the last 2 years, it's probably been a big topic of conversation. Yeah,
I just think I think top to bottom, hopefully we're more committed as a league to take care of business in the non-conference and do a better job across the board of getting quality wins. And we'll try and get whatever quality wins we can to bring into conference play, and that's gonna help everybody. I'm sure I'm not the first one to say that. Usually you win 22 games and you get 12 wins in your league, and you shouldn't be in Dayton. You should be an 8 seed. So hopefully we'll do a better job of that across the board, and we won't be in that position.
And Jalen Graham came on pretty strong late in his high school career. How's he looking so far in practice? Yeah,
Jalen's been sidelined here in the short term with an ankle, and it's not too severe, but he's probably another 10 days away from getting back into our practices. But he made a strong impression over the summer, and he's very active. I could see him being a guy that goes after the ball, blocks shots, rebounds, and he could finish. So we're happy with Jalen and his progress.
Great, thank you.
Coach, I'm Julie Jag from the Salt Lake Tribune. I've been doing my own, survey, of coaches, and talking about social media policies. Do you have one for your players? Is there anything that do you make them put their phones away before games, or kind of how do you deal with the criticism that they can receive via social media so easily?
Yeah, I mean, we have some training that we do, with our sports information, just to talk about social media, and it's like your own independent press conference, so just be careful, what you say. You got to own it once you tweet it or put it on Instagram, and then we have some just general things to try and avoid saying, and hope that the guys follow our team rules regarding social media.
How is it different than your playing days?
Yeah, I mean, it's more pressure on all our athletes, our student athletes, just with you miss a shot, it's immediate, and then someone might be tweeting at you. So it's tough for those guys to handle that, and my advice is just to not look at it, try and avoid it as much as you can.
Right. Are you kind of glad that you didn't have to deal with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a microscope for them, and it's more personal, and more people could reach them that could ever reach me if when I played. Bad game, I just kind of went back to my dorm, and I might have had a few messages on my answer machine or something like, why'd you play so bad or something. But yeah, I didn't have to deal with what our guys have to deal with now.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Tempo-wise, Bobby, are you going to change at all, or is this team maybe present some challenges that way, where you maybe open up the floor, play a little bit quicker?
Yeah, I mean, I think our guards are built to play in transition, play in a fast game, and get up and down the floor. And like I said, you put a lot of guys that could get up and down the floor and that could shoot the ball, then you have a lot of options. And then we do have a guy I think we throw the ball to inside, and Romello White, just the way he looks and what he's doing in our workouts, that I think we're going to have enough balance that we'll be able to attack in a variety of ways.
You talked about it before, but how did it happen that you've gotten off to these great starts? Because people are talking about changing their schedule now, and it's so important to play well in November. I mean, you guys basically have been the prototype for that. By design, or
I think
came out of the shoot twice, unbelievably.
Yeah, I think 2 years ago we did the foreign tour in the prior summer, which really helped. We were able to get a lot of practices in July, and then we had guys who were fed up with losing, basically, myself included, Shannon Evans, Trey Holder, and then we kind of built off that momentum, and then we had Zylan Cheatham and Rob Edwards sitting out, and we brought in Lou Dort, so we didn't really miss a beat. But when you have guys that now believe that that's what we should be doing, it's in their nature to expect that and to put the work in to want to do it. I wish I could give you a more clear reason, like why. Like, I don't know. I guess we're 21-3 in 2 years, but that's a pretty strong non-conference resume. Yeah.
Did the guard thing, was there an evolution there, or was it by design? I mean, you could make a case your family had two pretty good guards, fantastic careers, but I mean, did you go in with, hey, I want to have great guards, or that's going to be the key to our program?
I mean, I just hope that it was one of my strengths to try and identify what I look for in a guard, and everyone has their own preferences, and I think that, that's the first step, is being identify guys that you could really want to coach that fit how you want to play and what your vision is for how we play. And I've kind of leaned towards fast guards that could penetrate and shoot, and Lou Dort was kind of an anomaly, just like this guy's like a freak specimen and physical, and I thought he would fit in nicely too, so I made an exception for him, being a bigger, stronger guard. But yeah, I mean, I've had 2 point guards at Buffalo. It worked there and getting to the tournament, and I just thought it would be something. It's a good place to start in college basketball to have
you don't
good
want to
guard
say
play.
That. There may be guys want to play. Guys want to play for you because of the way you played and the way you coach your guys.
I mean, from a style standpoint, they go in prepared with structure, but I try not to overcomplicate things, and rarely are they looking over their shoulder unless it's an effort issue. It's not because they might have taken a borderline shot. I live with some stuff because I trust them. I trust the work they put in, and then I want them to play freely. I want to, that's how I was given the freedom as a player, and that's kind of what I gravitated to.
What's the next step for Rob this year? Like, what's Rob's? I know the upside is there, but like, what is the key for him this year?
I just think he's going to be more consistent, because I think first of all he's injury free and he feels good, and I think he's got the chance to put a lot of points on the board for us. But I've noticed also him making an impact defensively, using his strength and his size, and that's something that he could really tap into that could help our team, because again, I'm not too concerned about scoring it. I do think that we need to improve defensively big time here in the next few weeks, and I'm glad that I'm seeing that from Rob at that end of the floor, taking more responsibility, because Dort would take the best offensive player most nights, and then Zylan would take the best front court guy. So we need guys to be able to replace those guys from a defensive standpoint.
I just want it feels like Remy's been there almost as long as Doug, and yet he's only a junior. I mean, he's been there so long. It's amazing. Just because from day one he's been a factor for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I watched our Kansas game at Kansas and just watched how good he was in that game, and just stealing the ball from those guys and driving to the hoop and scoring and hitting big threes, and he's got his signature flex, and he plays with just so much raw passion and energy that So yeah, it's. I'm glad he's still around though. He's got a couple of years with me, so I don't want him to go yet.
To get where you want to be at the end of the year, NCAA tournament, what's the one thing that you feel your team has to do in order to get?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that go into that, so that's a tough one just to
'Cause you mentioned
specify.
defense.
Yeah, I think rebounding. I talk about rebounding every year, and I didn't really rebound at all when I played, so it's ironic I talk about rebounding all the time. And but 2 years ago, I didn't know if we could get a rebound because we were so small. Last year, I thought we should get every rebound because we had guys who were playing 2 feet over the basket. And this year, I'm hoping we can get a rebound. So it's a cycle again. So I think that'll be the one area that game to game that I'm going to be really, just instilling a desire from everyone to rebound the ball.
All right, that's all we have time for.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach Hurley.